Let's talk first of all about the Michigan State coach. He remains suspended. His 10-year, $95 million contract is in real jeopardy. Michigan State is now going to hold a hearing that Tucker must appear at. It involves sexual misconduct with the counselor, Brenda Tracy, who has a foundation that goes around the country and talks to football players and programs about their responsibility as a man towards women on the campus, etc. And now Mel Tucker has stood up and said, what happened between me and Brenda Tracy was my private life on my private time. And the university says, no, it's not.
No.
And Michigan State, of course, has this thing hanging over their neck about Dr. Larry Nassar, the Olympic doctor, the sexual misconduct with all the Olympic gymnasts, what happened to the U.S. Olympic team. It's not a good look for Michigan State's leadership. It's a bad situation for Mel Tucker.
Yeah, now, disgrace.
Houston, Kevin Porter is going to be expelled from the NBA. Star guard, 24 points a game. NBA doesn't give a crap. He's been arrested, felony choking of his girlfriend, fractured her neck, eye injury from a beating. This guy had already been suspended by the league for, quote, COVID violations a couple of years ago, had been arrested on gun and alcohol issues. This guy's making mega money, and he's out of the NBA or will be out of the NBA very quickly. Bad citizen. How do you make those decisions to do what he did? Third name is a controversial soccer name, Paul Pogba. Manchester United got rid of him after paying a phenomenal amount of money to get him. His career just sputtered with Man U. He was a coaching nightmare. He wound up going to Juventus of Italy. Manchester United opened the door, said, leave. He just tested positive for PEDs. That's a 4-year violation. It's probably end of your career. How do these guys, John, make these decisions?
Yeah, I mean, what a bunch of dopes. I mean, they have all the opportunity right in front of them. I mean, you can add Julio Urias to that list and Ja Morant and all these other guys that we've covered, but just a disgrace. It's great to see the league step up and take a sharp action. But wow, 4 years for PEDs in international soccer. That's a ton.
That's how FIFA deals with it, and they deal with it really sternly. Last topic on the table. This is about soccer. Corner, kick me a question or two here.
Okay, so yeah, USA, Saudi. I mean, what's going on here between these two nations and teams?
Okay, let's talk about Team USA. Greg Berhalter has taken control of the program. They played 2 friendly games this past week internationally. They just won 4-0 against Oman. They had a 2-0 victory in the first international. Roberto Pepe scores another goal. Valerian Balogun scores his first goal for Berhalter. Goaltender Matt Turner continues to do really well. Turner's from Nottingham Forest and is playing really well in the EPL. Comes back here, and Cornerstones Team USA, they're now 2-0 in friendlies. Matt Crocker, the general manager of the entire U.S. soccer program, says the interviews have begun privately behind closed doors. They will have a new coach for the U.S. women's team, he believes, by the 1st of November. And as he says, we have a lot of young talent, and there are a lot of coaches that want to coach that young talent in Team USA. And we spent the entire spring and summer talking about the Saudi League and the amount of money the public investment firm was funneling out to try to steal players. Just been reported in the London Guardian. The English Premier League teams made $311 million from the Saudi fund with transfer of players out the door. That's a stunning story. The report also in the Guardian says the Saudi fund spent $711 million in global transfers. That's players from not just England, but Spain, Italy, Germany, wherever they would buy them from. 31 players have left the EPL to go play in Saudi Arabia. And there's huge debate. How do we control these people from not raiding us in the middle of the night? Because it impacts the English Premier League if you're stealing top players and grossly overpaying them. Nobody has a solution to that situation. So, John, you got Team USA to talk about, and you got the Saudis to talk about.
Yeah, well, good on Team USA for getting organized for a new coach. I like that. I saw a little bit of the game against Oman. I saw Berhalter on the sidelines. I'm like, okay, now I'm starting to feel it again. But the Saudi thing's crazy. I mean, they got so much money. I mean, we've learned in America, as Padre fans, you can't just keep paying money and it's going to solve all the problems. But Yeah, I mean, if a lot of the top players are leaving the EPL, I mean, that's the premier league on the planet. That's got to be a big blow for those teams. But still, I mean, the fans are going to show up and watch those teams on TV anyways. So maybe it's not that bad of a financial hit to England.
Okay, closing comment here before we wrap things up. For everybody that joins us on our live streams, on our Monday bonus podcast and our regular Thursday podcast, John, how can they subscribe? And when we come back next Monday, we'll reopen the fans forum portal to give them to join us. But how do they subscribe? What do we offer them? And then how do they do the fans forum?
Okay, so you can subscribe to Hacksaw's content all over the internet. So on all the audio-only podcast platforms like Google and Apple and Stitcher and everything else, you can subscribe there. Subscribe on YouTube. Click on that bell. You'll get the updates. We're releasing video content every day of the week on YouTube. And then, Hacksaw is also on Instagram and Threads and what else? TikTok and Facebook and Twitter and of course YouTube. So make sure you like, follow, share, and subscribe to all the Hacksaw content so you'll get the latest updates.
And if you like sports, check my website. It's all written, leehacksawhamilton.com. We'll return to our regular format come Monday with our bonus package podcast. John, it's been interesting. Great weekend ahead of us. Have yourself a great sports weekend. We'll see you come Monday.
Come Monday, we'll be ready to go.
And for you viewing us, thanks for joining us on our Thursday podcast on Hacksaw's Headlines.